Chargers Nation, it's back. NFL training camp has officially kicked off for the Los Angeles Chargers, and day one brought energy, surprises, and breakout moments. This wasn't just another practice. It felt like the start of something real. First, the shocker. Mike Williams officially retired. A name that's meant so much to this franchise is stepping away. It's emotional, but the future waits for no one. And speaking of the future, it just signed a contract. Trey Harris is now officially locked in with the Chargers, and the rookie wave is making noise. We saw Martin Hampton, Kamani Vidal, and Kendra Lambert-Smith all flash some serious potential. And then there was Jalen Reagor, with a one-handed beauty that made the crowd buzz. Now, let's roll some tape. Clip of 7-on-7 action begins. This play is clean. No O-line, no D-line, just pure skill. Watch as the QB drops back. His eyes go left, but it's a setup. He's reading the safety and baiting him just enough to isolate Kendra Lambert-Smith on the right. Suddenly, boom, he fires a dart right over the linebacker's shoulder. Look at this. KLS with the double tap toe drag. In. Bounds. That's elite-level awareness from a young wideout. This is the same guy who transferred from Penn State to Auburn and brought that dynamic, electric play style with him. The coaching staff was hyped when they got him. The WR coach literally said, "I can't wait to work with you." That tells you everything you need to know about the belief they already have in this guy. But wait, before we dive deeper into camp highlights, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and don't forget to ring the bell icon so you never miss a Chargers update, film breakdown, or exclusive analysis. Now, let's jump back into it. With Trey Harris now under contract and building chemistry fast, it's clear this receiver group is going to be a battlefield in the best way possible. Day 2 is underway, and if it's anything like the first, we're in for a show. The action didn't stop there. Just when you thought day 1 had peaked, the 11-on-11s brought another level of intensity. What you're seeing here appears to be the second-team offense stepping onto the field. And under center, that's Trey Lance, commanding the huddle, reading the defense with poise. He drops back, scans the field, and watch closely. He opens up to his left, where there's clear one-on-one coverage. But he holds. Doesn't take the bait. That tells you something. He shifts his read across the field, full progression, and then fires to the right. A sharp, confident throw. Receiver brings it in cleanly. Now if jersey numbers are telling the truth, that might be Luke Grimm on the catch, as 37. If so, that's a solid connection between Lance and a young wideout trying to carve out his spot. That looked like third-team defense going against second-team offense. And you love to see that kind of execution. Now let's break down a moment that stood out to me for all the right reasons. Look at this next snap. The matchup here is Kendra Lambert-Smith lined up against a DB who's showing inside leverage, shaded just off his inside shoulder. That usually tells you the defender is trying to take away slants or posts. But Lambert-Smith counters it with a crisp out route. And here's the kicker. The defense is running a too-high safety look. One deep over the top, one shifting toward the sideline. It's a tight window, but the quarterback trusts the route, trusts the timing, and puts the ball where only the receiver can get it. That's the kind of execution that builds chemistry fast. And it shows the coaching staff that this young receiver is already processing coverages and making smart breaks. And that's what separates a camp body from a real contender. Watch this next sequence closely. There's something subtle here that speaks volumes about quarterback awareness and trust. Off to the far right side of the screen, just out of frame, is another wideout running a route that we know well, the classic out. Now here's where it gets interesting. In situations like this, especially on first down, these short out routes often become quick yes or no reads. It's a one-step decision, throw it or don't. But here's why the quarterback pulls the trigger. As soon as the coverage man, jersey 0, bails upright and doesn't slide laterally into the zone, the window opens. The ball's out immediately, and who's waiting at the sideline? Kendra Lambert-Smith. Quick snag. Minimal resistance. A tidy 5 or 6 yard gain. 1st and 10? You take that every time. But it's who made that catch that tells you more than the play itself. KLS is already running with the first team. That's not something you see often from a 5th-round rookie. Yet there he is, holding his own with the starters. Of course, with Mike Williams stepping away and Trey Harris still finalizing his contract, there's room. But this isn't just about opportunity. Lambert Smith is earning it. And fast. Now, let's move to another play that showcases the offensive structure in motion. The offense is in a five-man protection, sliding right. The left tackle and guard are on islands, holding off their matchups one-on-one. The tight end runs a short and breaking route, and out wide, it's Quentin Johnston setting up a comeback route, or more of a curl. Watch the placement here. The ball is delivered perfectly to the outside shoulder. Johnston plants, turns it upfield, and gains that extra yardage. That's the textbook follow-through. Now, Johnston wasn't flawless. There was a moment earlier in practice, a drop, a frustrating one. But here's the thing, with Mike Williams out, that outside receiver spot is his to lose. And with Trey Harris entering the picture, the competition only heats up. You've got two very different receivers in Johnston and KLS. But the expectations? Identical. Produce. Stay consistent. Fight for your role. And earn your snaps. There's something we need to keep in mind when evaluating certain players on this Chargers roster, especially guys like Quentin Johnston, this current front office. They didn't draft him, which means there's no built-in loyalty. No reason to protect his spot or justify anything. If he doesn't perform, they won't hesitate to look elsewhere. And that kind of pressure, it's real. It creates urgency. Now, let's shift the spotlight for a second. Keep your eyes on #86, though he's not on this particular snap, because that's Gadsden. And I'll say it now, by week 8 or 9, he could be the one commanding the tight end room. I'm that high on his upside. He moves like a mismatch waiting to happen. But on this play, you're seeing Tyler Conklin on the field, #83. And if the season started today, he's likely your day one starter. Maybe Will Dissly mixes in, depending on personnel, but long-term, Gadsden's name keeps echoing louder and louder. Now here's a play that perfectly shows why you can't sleep on this defense either. Justin Herbert steps up and looks to hit Kendra Lambert-Smith on a crossing route over the middle. It's a well-designed look. KLS gets the initial separation, and it seems like the ball is heading toward a clean completion. But then out of nowhere, boom, a defensive back makes a play. That's Jalen Jones, coming downhill and breaking it up, a textbook pass breakup. Watch how he gets his hand in just as the ball arrives, right into the cookie jar, as they say. That's pure instinct. You've also got #38 in the area. That's Manny Johnson, playing over the top. It's hard to say exactly what look they were running, maybe a mix of second or third team coverage. But that kind of hustle stands out no matter who's on the field. These are the moments that define camp. Not just who scores or grabs headlines, but who finishes plays, who steps up in coverage, and who's earning trust, one rep at a time. Now let's shift focus to something that often gets overlooked, the offensive line rotation. Up front, we saw Rashawn Slater anchoring the left tackle spot, as expected. But what stood out was the interior shuffle. Zion Johnson, who took snaps at center during OTAs and minicamp, slid back over to left guard today. In his place at center, Bradley Bozeman. The right side featured Mekhi Becton at guard and Joe Alt out at tackle. Clearly, the coaching staff is still experimenting, shifting pieces, testing combos, and keeping the competition wide open. Left guard or center, the staff wants versatility, and they're going to find out exactly who fits where. Now let's speed things up and look at a few skill position plays. Starting with a handoff to Amari Hampton. Pads weren't on, and there was no real tackling, but you can still pick up on a back's movement. Hampton weaved through traffic, slipping through tight lanes, and though contact was light, his vision and footwork flashed. He looked quick, slippery, confident. In full pads? That's when we'll know more. But the early signs are encouraging. Then came the most electric moment of the session, the throw and catch that turned heads across camp. The QB scans left, then pivots, and fires back to the right. A laser. And waiting to snatch it out of the air with full extension? Jalen Reagor. Perfect route. Even better hands. That was the kind of play that gets replayed in film rooms, and maybe even reshapes depth charts. Now, let's talk about the running back room real quick. With Najee Harris sidelined, It looked like Hassan Haskins took the bulk of first-team reps. He had a steady presence. Right behind him was Amari Hampton, mixing in often, with guys like Kamani Vidal and Rocket Sanders rotating through as well. This backfield might look committee-based for now, but don't be surprised if one of these names rises fast in the coming weeks. And finally, a prediction. If camp ended today, here's how the top 3 wide receivers might stack up. Ladd McConkey. He's likely your slot weapon. Quick, twitchy, and tough inside. Trey Harris. Drafted high, and that tells you all you need to know. They plan to use him. Quentin Johnston. He'll probably start, but don't sleep on Kendra Lambert-Smith. The way he's playing, he could steal that job if Johnston slips. Let's see how it all shakes out. This wide receiver battle is just heating up, and training camp still has a long road ahead.